The Manic Street Preachers Takeover on Rock Radio.
Hello, it's Nicky Wyatt from Manic Street Preachers. This is the Rock Radio Takeover. Over the next couple of hours, you'll be hearing our taste that we formed over the last 25 years of our adult life. Going to start off with a bit of Free. Beautiful track, actually, My Brother Jake. Shows the kind of melancholy in Free, not just the pure brute force of their rock and roll. So this is Free with My Brother Jake.
Hello, this is James and Nick from the Manic Street Preachers on Rock Radio Takeover. You were just listening to My Brother Jake from Free. This next song is one of my favourite Aerosmith songs. We're delving darkly back into the past year. On a muso tip, this song was apparently written on a 6-string bass by Joe Perry, and it's called Back in the Saddle by Aerosmith. Manic Street Preachers here. More from our Takeover selection coming up next.
Hello, that was the wondrous sound of the Sex Pistols. This is Nicky Wyatt from the Manic Street Preachers. That was Did You Know Wrong? A bit of a Pistols obscurity, but just shows the immense power and the fantastic drumming of Paul Cook, the lacerating guitar of Steve Jones, and the amazing vocals of Mr. Rotten. And when you choosing next, James?
Yeah, my next pick is probably one of the heaviest songs on the list, I think. This is from the band Alice in Chains. This song has such a hint of menace, and it's like a brooding storm coming over the hills. This is called Them Bones. Hello, this is James and Nick from the Manic Street Preachers on Rock Radio Takeover. That was Them Bones from Alice in Chains, and apparently Jerry Cantrell picked, or one member of Alice in Chains picked Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds by William Shatner a wee while back. No such picks from us tonight, and it's over to Nicky Wyatt.
I think we'll pick a bit of the genius of Jay Mascis next, one of James's favourite guitarists. Really underrated, I think. This is Start Chopping by Dinosaur Jr.
This is James from the Manic Street Preachers. You were just listening to Start Chopping by Dinosaur Jr. And you're listening to Rock Radio Takeover, going out in Glasgow, Newcastle and Manchester and Edinburgh. This next song is from a true, perhaps nearly forgotten, rock hero from the 70s. This man has made millions of pounds from his records being sampled on lots of rap records. This is Lonely as the Night by Billy Squier.
We are the Manic Street Preachers. More from our Takeover selection coming up after the break. That was The Faces with Debris. Very odd lineup for the reunion gigs next year with Mick Huckland and Glenn Matlock playing. That song was written by Ronnie Lane, one of my bass playing heroes and general heroes, full stop. One of the sweetest men ever, I think, in rock and roll, and a brilliant songwriter to boot.
So this next song is one of my favourite Clash songs. I haven't played it for a long time, so I'm looking forward to hearing it. This is Safe European Home by The Clash.
Alright, that was the Beatles with Paperback Writer. One of Macca's finest bass parts, I think, one of his finest tunes. We did a show with Mr. McCartney at the Millennium Stadium about a month ago, I think, 6 weeks ago. He was truly astounding. Made us feel very old. He played for 3 hours and he was just fantastic. We were knackered after about 55 minutes. But it got us some good practice. We got a UK tour coming up. The album's out. Postcards from a Young Man. I think it's one of our best, and I hope you enjoy it.
This next song is we used to practice in my parents' front room in the late 80s. We had a couple of efforts of trying to cover it, but we never quite nailed it. This is California Uber Alleys by the Dead Kennedys.
Okay, that was the sound of one of, for me, one of Scotland's greatest bands, Jesus and the Mary Chain, with April Skies, sort of stuck in my memory, one of the great Top of the Pops appearances, I think. The Reed brothers looking amazingly cool, like extras from a Velvet Underground film or something. Definitely one of our favourite bands growing up, and a big influence on us, I think.
Manic Street Preachers here. More from our Takeover selection coming up next.
You're listening to the Manic Street Preachers Takeover from Rock Radio.
This next pick, I I gotta say I'm James because I don't know if Nick wants to be responsible for this one. This is my first true musical love. And recently wrote a song for the new album and realised it would have to be a B-side because it was a bit similar to this song, so it couldn't be on the album. This is Last Train to London by Electric Light Orchestra.
That was James's first love, ELO, and this is now one of my first loves. It's the first 7-inch I ever bought, Martin Luther Records in Blackwood High Street. It's no longer with us. It's Neon Nights by Black Sabbath, and Ozzy had left, and they came back with Ronnie James Dio, sadly no longer with us. And I think this is an amazing record, actually. It retained all the power and mystery that Sabbath always had, but seemed to speed it up by 100 BPMs. I still love this record, and I've still got the 7-inch.
That was Neon Nights from Black Sabbath. Wasn't quite into that one when I was younger, but I do appreciate it now. But this next band was a massive influence on us back in the Valleys in the late 80s. And I remember actually being so in awe of this singer that when we first went to New York as a band, I saw the singer of this band, Hannah Rocks. I saw the singer Michael Monroe on the corner of Fifth Avenue somewhere at about 2 o'clock in the morning, just looking so resplendent in his fake fur jacket and with a bottle in his hand, and he just looked exactly as how you expected him to look in the middle of the wee small hours of the morning in New York. This is called Boulevard of Broken Dreams by Hannah Rocks.
Okay, that was Guns N' Roses with It's So Easy, a massive influence on us around 88, 89, and a huge influence in Wales in general. Coming out the Valleys was very much a kind of rock area. Everyone else in the country seemed to be listening to Happy Mondays and Stone Roses, where it was all about Guns N' Roses for us. Luckily enough, Duff McKagan has played on our new record. James played It's So Easy with him in Hammersmith a few months back, and Duff gave us an award at the Mojo Magazine Awards, and we asked Duff to play on a track, and he did. He said, "Yeah, I'll get my old rig that I use for Appetite out just for you." And he played on a track called Billion Balconies Facing the Sun, and he's still the best plectrum player there is out there, and he's one of the sweetest gentlemen in rock and roll.
More from our Takeover selection coming up next.
Hello, that was My Kingdom by Ekko and the Bunnymen, something slightly more softer and left of field, but going back to gigs, that was James, Sean's and Richey's first ever gig was Ekko and the Bunnymen on the Ocean Rain tour, and luckily enough we got Ian McCulloch singing on the new album as well. He was one of our heroes growing up. We all tried to get hair like him, we all tried to get our lips like him. And he came down to our studio in Cardiff and sang on a track, and he dug out one of the most beautiful vocals I've ever heard. And it's a real privilege. We've been really blessed on this record to have John Cale, Duff McKagan and Ian McCulloch singing on it, and three heroes of our musical youth. And it don't get much better than that. That's off Ocean Rain, that song, My Kingdom, if you need to know.
So this song is by the great Scottish indie band, I think, really. Don't know if they'd really want to be described as such. This song definitely kind of like had a big effect on me. It proved that kind of like indie could have just a bit of rock and roll swagger to it, and this is the great, graceful, lush sound of Teenage Fan Club with Star Sign.
That was Higher Ground by Stevie Wonder. It's just one of those songs that just you bow down to, you know. It's original, it's funky, it's uplifting, and you know, it's the like of which we probably never see again. And it's got that great line, "Preachers keep preaching," which, you know, is relevant to us. Talking of which, this is our new single, which definitely has a classic rock feel. I think it sounds like primetime Manics from Everything Must Go to Send Away the Tigers. It's called It's Not War, Just the End of Love, and it's got a great guitar solo by my friend James Dean Bradfield.
That was The Skids with the amazing, forceful, lush sound of Woman in Winter. And before that, you heard our new single, It's Not War, Just the End of Love by the MSPpedia. You listen to us on Rock Radio Takeover, going out in Glasgow, Newcastle, Manchester and Edinburgh. We enjoy taking this over like a bunch of Welsh pirates. And
coming up, we have a bit of the marvellous Smashing Pumpkins, big influence, I think, sort of mid-90s especially. The power of the guitars, Jimmy Chamberlain's amazing drumming. Just a great-looking band, a great-sounding band. One of their finest moments coming up. This is Cherub Rock. So it's coming up. It's our last track we're going to pick now. It's been an absolute pleasure spreading all our wonderful taste in music over this mighty fine country. It's James, it's Nick from the Manic Preachers. We'd like to end with something ragged, uplifting, and as the title says, very happy. This is the Mighty Rolling Stones with Keith's greatest ever vocal. Thanks for having us. You've been listening to Rock Radio, and we are the Manic Street Preachers, and this is Happy by the Rolling Stones.